What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Golf Podcast USA Network. I'm your host, Brett Smith, and whether you're tuning in to our Illinois, Wisconsin, or Michigan show, we've got a great Midwest golf conversation for you today. Our guest is Abbey Algiers, and she brings a really strong perspective on golf travel, trip planning, and the kinds of experiences golfers are looking for right now. We also get into why golf shows still matter and how destinations are competing for golfers and their families, and why travel today has to offer more than just good weather and a tee time. So whether you're looking for ideas close to home in Illinois, Wisconsin, and Michigan, or dreaming bigger about Spain and Portugal and the future of golf travel, this episode has a little bit of everything. Abbey, welcome to the show. Tell us what you learned at the Chicago Golf Show.
It was cool to go there being from Wisconsin because there was a lot of courses from Wisconsin, a lot of destinations. It definitely had the Midwest flair. But it was pretty huge and incredible. There were record numbers that were there this year. They had everything, from destinations, a lot of travel exhibitors to golf simulators, putting contests, just a whole lineup of really cool vendors.
How many people do you think attended the show?
I believe it was well over 18,000. I think that's
Wow.
a record from the past years, definitely. I'll tell you what, we were there all weekend. We were there Friday through Sunday, and it definitely felt like it. There were just, especially Friday and Saturday, it was packed. And I know a lot of the destinations were running out of their materials. They're running out of pamphlets. They had to go to FedEx and make copies of their materials, just kind of the old fashioned, here's a runoff of, our brochure, because there were just so many people there.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's like, think of how massive the PGA show in Orlando was. That's about a little over half,
Right.
and I didn't even see half of the Orlando PGA show. So
I know. And it was packed, and it was over the course of 3 days.
where was it held?
It was at it was right near O'Hare, about 2 miles from O'Hare, and it's called the Donald E. Stevens Convention Center. It's in Rosemont, Illinois. So it's a great location because it's easy to access if you're coming from Wisconsin. It's easy for Chicago people to access it, and right near O'Hare for the vendors who come in.
I went to the Colorado Golf Expo last weekend. They didn't have 18,000 people. It had about almost 10,000.
Okay, that's great. Yeah.
But same story, was a record attendance for them, year over year. Actually, there was some interesting flares to it. Like, for example, the World Long Drive Tour, they were doing a local qualifier there on a simulator. So that drew a lot of attention.
Oh,
So they,
that's cool.
yeah, they had some, professional long drive guys, hitting it like 450 to 500 yards on the simulator. So
Oh my God.
that was pretty impressive. I tried it. I did not hit it 450 to 500 yards.
How do
So
you compete with that, right?
I know they were charging
Wow.
$20 to, like, for anybody to, like, come up, and I was like, I don't know if this is just a waste of money, but I'm going to do it anyway,
Yeah.
just for fun. But I ended up talking to those guys and ended up interviewing a couple of the long drive guys actually at the show. So that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
They did a whole show, like, they were driving with a putter, and they can hit their putters further than I can hit my actual driver. So that was,
Wow. That's,
they were hitting a putter like
yeah,
340 yards. It was like, oh my God.
amazing. Wow.
That was kind of a fun little twist. Was there anything like that stood out to you like that? Was there anything unique, like different types of demos or products that you saw like at the show?
Yeah, there were a couple. First of all, this was my first time at the Chicago Golf Show, so everything was new to me. But apparently, it's their tradition to open the show on Friday at noon with bagpipers. So they had the Shannon Rovers parade go through the expo center playing bagpipes just as sort of the official start to the show. So that was just kind of cool. And then they had a lot of interesting people on the main stage. Hank Haney, Tiger Woods coach from 2004 to 2010, he was there. I think he was there 2 days. And then they had Bubby from Good Good Golf, the YouTube channel.
Sure.
Yeah, he was there, and Good Good had a whole really cool merchandise area. So that was a really big hit at the show. Um, so that was very cool. Bubby was there 2 days, Saturday and Sunday. He was on the main stage. So that drew quite a crowd. Um, I was lucky to be part of a travel panel, which was pretty cool. It was on Friday afternoon. And there was a representative from Links of Ireland. His name is Justin Farrell. And what I really liked about what he was saying about the trips that he organizes for Links of Ireland, he said, I like having golfers come over to Ireland and play the big courses, the big names that everybody wants to play. But he's like, to be honest, I hate it when, they spend all their money and they like dump a huge, chunk of change and they can play one course because it's so hard to get onto some of the major courses. So his kind of flair is that he likes to organize unique experiences that are kind of off the beaten path and courses that really give you a flavor of Ireland and the locals and the culture. And so I just thought that was kind of a cool variation of a tour operator. So I really enjoyed that. He was on stage. And then there were so many travel exhibitors that were represented. I mean, there were people like Alabama Tourism, Central Missouri, um, Gaylord, Michigan, Gaylord Golf Mecca, it's officially called, Traverse City, just so many really great destinations were all represented. So it was cool. And I do a lot of fam trips, familiarization travel golf trips. And a lot of the places that I visit were there. So it was nice to see, my friends from the tourist office of those states. And that was really good.
So let's talk about that for a second. So
Yeah.
you're in the travel business, and
Yeah.
how's this year going so far? Like, I mean, everybody I talked to at the PGA show seemed that they had an incredible year last year. Do we see the same trend going forward into 26?
Yes, definitely. I would say golf tourism in general, I think it's booming, both here and in Europe. I visited several courses in Portugal and Spain this past fall and then again in January. And the word on the street is that there is a lot of interest in golf tourism. Um, in the United States, I would say the big hitters are the RTJ Trail in Alabama,
Sh-
definitely.
Sure, sure.
And then also in Alabama, Gulf Shores, that whole area is just such a cool place because golfers can go and you can combine a golf vacation with a coastal family vacation. So I'm seeing more trends in golf vacations that are designed for the golfers in the family, but also for everyone else, so there's something for everyone. And a golf trip is kind of being redefined. So it's not like, hey, the guys are getting away, for their golf weekend. It's more of a family experience or a couple's experience, even if both people in the couple don't golf. It's just tons of options in the destinations.
I've actually looked at that area, the Gulf Shores Golf Club. Actually, it's a pretty cool little strip there. 'Cause you're
Yeah,
right on the beach, and there's a lot of condos and different hotels and stuff, places to stay. But it looks like a very nice area.
it really is. That whole area is being really, it just every time I go there, there's more developments. We stayed this past January in a new Spring Hill Suites by Marriott. It was brand new. I mean, I think literally like we were the first people to stay in our room. That's how new it was. But it's just an example of all of the options from hotels to renting a house. A lot of families will go back year after year and rent the same house, and generations will kind of repeat that. So that is just cool. Lots of great restaurants in addition to amazing golf. I mean, Yeah.
Well, tell me about Europe. Like, what's popular in Europe? I can
Um,
imagine probably, St. Andrews, Scotland. But is there anything outside of that?
yes. And so I've been focusing on Spain and Portugal. I have not, I need to go to St. Andrews. I need to do all the typical ones, but golf in Spain and golf in Portugal are also kind of hitting record numbers. In Spain, the hot places would be everyone. If you think of golf in Spain, you naturally think of Costa del Sol, like the Sun Coast, or otherwise known as the Gulf Coast, and that's on the southeast coast of Spain. So there are over 70 courses there. It's where Valderrama, which was I think it was the 1997 Ryder Cup destination, that was there. And now even in the Barcelona area, which is like the northeast part of Spain, um, Camarel Golf Course is set to host the Ryder Cup in 2031. So that whole area is kind of buzzing with golf. Um, and then just throughout the country, even Madrid, you think of Madrid as an urban city. Surrounding the city are maybe 20 golf courses. So there, my take on golf in Europe is if you're going to Europe and you're a golfer, just kind of do some research before you go because you can throw in around even if you're just traveling there, for culture or whatever.
What golf courses stand out to you in Spain?
I really so I was in Valencia last February, and that is also like it's on the southeast side of Spain. Um, so Valencia is a great city. It's like the number one city for expats in Spain, I believe. But about 20 minutes outside of the city is a course called Golf El Saler, EL, and then SALER. And this course is like a links course on the sea. So it's beautiful. And on it's a stay and play. And instead of having a traditional hotel, they have this thing called a parador. And paradors in Spain are historical buildings that have been made into just really elegant hotels. They're not hotels, they're run by the government, but they're just beautiful places, usually on the outskirts of a city. So that's kind of a unique way to experience the culture of Spain while you golf. So that's one of my favorites. And then my husband and I also golfed in northern Spain, in the Basque country where John Rahm is from. And we golfed in Pamplona, which is normally known for the running of the bulls, but we golfed at, I can't think of the name of it. Sorry, there's a course outside of Pamplona, which was really fun. So just kind of different golf courses are fun to play in Spain.
When you were at the Chicago Golf Show, you said you were on a panel. What was the theme of the panel?
So it was a panel with four different people, and one person was there representing the RTJ Trail. So he talked about all of the courses in Alabama, and just the fact that they're set up so that they're no more than 2 hours apart from each other, the courses. So you could hypothetically, a group could say, hey, let's play in Birmingham in the morning and then play a different course in the afternoon. So you can easily get um, among the 25 courses along the trail. So he talked about that. There was a representative from Florida. So he was talking about just all of the destinations in Florida. And then the guy from Ireland, Justin Farrell. And then I was there talking about golf in Spain and then also Portugal and how Portugal's kind of having a moment as well. Um, I was there to take part in the Portuguese Pro-Am this February, and I talked to the CEO of a group called Details, which has 20 courses between Lisbon and the Algarve, and they're kind of taking Portugal golf by storm. They're just revamping existing courses to make them better and enhance the hotels and areas where families can come and stay. And his take on golf is that It's no longer enough to say like, oh, this we have great weather in Portugal, come for golf because there's great weather everywhere. You have to have something more. So his take was that they are trying to pose themselves as a destination that has golf, it has culture, and it's family friendly. So there's activities for the whole family, like a Tiger Woods type experience for the family, like just little par threes, different things like that are being added to their resorts. So that was kind of cool to see that.
So, I mean, this is probably the panel you were on is probably a good example of this, but why are golf shows useful for trip planning and not just gear shopping?
I think because that's a good question. I think because like once you're in the golf show, there's so much to take in and you're totally hyped up about playing for the next season. And so you're walking past all the, equipment and the tech side of it. But then you see these places that you can go play and you're like, yeah, I never thought of golfing in Alabama, and and you get the information right there and the people from the tourist office are so helpful or the state tourism boards. And they just really are there to kind of seal the deal or show you how you could do a golf trip. So I think it catches the spirit of the show and catches people at the right time with real paper materials you take home and are reminded of versus you see something online and kind of forget about it. Um, so I think that's why they're so popular.
Yeah, no, I think there's, definitely a human connection in having someone tell you about it and their, personal experiences because they've probably been there, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
that's a big part of, why you should go to the show because you get someone's, firsthand experience, telling you a story.
definitely. Definitely. And I know one of the booths at the Chicago Golf Show was Let's Golf Travel, and they are a marketing company that produces the travel brochures and magazines for a variety like Alabama, Mississippi. They do a ton of different brochures, and they were there and they could talk about every destination. So it was like you said, you get real people who actually have been to the destinations who can give you testimonials. So I think that lends some credibility to destinations instead of just like, well, I guess.
Interesting. While you were there, you messaged me talking about the PXG fitting store. What was that experience about?
Okay, that was really cool. And that was we went there the day after the show. So we went there on Monday morning. My husband and I went to the PXG store in Northbrook, Illinois, and we each had our own little hitting bay and our own fitter. And their methodology is you bring your own clubs in. My fitter watched me hit my clubs and just kind of saw how I hit it. Then he'd give me one of his clubs to try, add some weights to it or take some weights off, and kind of tweaked every part of my game according to, the irons and how I had hit mine versus how I could hit theirs. So it was really cool. I left. I went there thinking, actually telling my husband, I'm like, Eric, we are not getting new clubs. This is ridiculous. Like I'm so against, I was like all like negative Nancy. We don't need new clubs. And then I'm like, I want a new set of clubs. I want an entirely new set. And I'm hoping to make that come true. My husband bought a new driver and loves it. So it's just a really great experience.
So, like when they were fitting you, what what was their recommendations like? I mean, did they, like just my general knowledge of fitting, it's like, you can make your live, upright or flat, and you were talking about the weights and obviously the length of the club can make a difference. What recommendations did they have for you specifically that was like, that made it cool and felt, uniquely tailored to you?
Yeah, well, so I went in and I was pretty neutral about my clubs. I just really wanted to hear what he said. And what I thought about my clubs was that they felt too heavy and they just did they never I bought them in 2021. I went to a local golf course and chose from three options. So it wasn't exactly personalized. It was sort of personalized. So I had my fitting, and at the end of it, he said, your clubs are too heavy for you. They're just too stiff and too heavy. And that's exactly what I had thought too. So he was spot on. So he just adjusted it by maybe, I don't know, just a very slight amount, but that just making them a little bit lighter made all the difference.
How did they adjust the weight? Did they take it out of the shaft or the head, or how did they do that?
Yeah, there's like a little, like the shaft has a little, like a little, it looks like a little screw, but I think that's where they put that's where the weighted mechanism is in the head of the club, or like the blade on the irons.
Sure.
And they just kind of kept adjusting it and saying, well, let's try this. And it looks like a battery or something that he keeps putting back in. It's very small.
Interesting.
And yeah. And I mean, everything is computerized. So you're hitting it and he's looking at all of the angles. And I didn't quite understand it, but it was very calculated, everything he was doing. And then he would kind of go on the back and fix the blade of the iron I was using, and then I would try it, and it would either be better or worse. He'd make an adjustment. So it was pretty scientific in the way he was doing it.
Yeah, I really think that getting your clubs fitted to you is probably the number one most beneficial thing you can do. I mean, you can have a really nice set of clubs, but if they're not fitted to you correctly, you're not going to, you know, they won't.
Yeah.
You're not going to hit them optimally. You know what I'm saying? So, like, um, I think just the general takeaway, whether you get PXG or not, getting your clubs really dialed in and fitted first before you select them. I think that's the general takeaway. Getting your clubs fitted.
I completely agree, because if you just kind of go with like, oh, this is good enough or whatever, you'll end up like probably spending twice as much because you won't be happy with them, and like I'm 5 years later wanting new clubs. So yeah, I totally agree. And PXG, just another kind of cool feature that we learned. They they have a 20% discount for military and for veterans, as well as police officers, firefighters, teachers, and nurses. So they said they have so many Chicago firemen or Chicago cops that come in to get clubs, and if they have a problem with them, they take them back and will tweak them for them. And I just think that is totally cool too, that discount program and how they take care of, they just want everyone to have access to great clubs.
Yeah, I agree. Bob Parsons is actually uh, was a Marine, and the service level of PXGs is ridiculous. I actually heard an interview with Gary Player, who's a PXG representative or a brand ambassador of PXG, and he said that their facility in Scottsdale, they have their own course. They'll fit you for the clubs. You go out and you play the course, and then they come check in on you in about 3 holes and like, okay, well, what do you think about the club so far? And if you have a problem with them, they literally take the club, take it in the shop, adjust it, and then bring it back out to you on the course while you're still playing. It's pretty incredible experience.
That's amazing. Yes, I and based on just the small sampling of their service that we got at their store, I could see how that's true, because they were just really, they weren't just doing it for show. They really, you could tell they loved what they did and really just cared about quality.
No, I agree. Well, let's talk a little bit more about travel. Like, let's localize this a little bit. What are some spring golf ideas for Midwest golfers?
Well, okay, so for Midwest golfers, I would say one that's probably, like, I live in the greater Milwaukee area. So one is just the next state over in Michigan, northern Michigan, the Gaylord Golf area. It's called the Gaylord Golf Mecca. And they just have a number of beautiful courses, including Treetops, which is, I believe, was the number one par 3 course in the nation. It was ranked that at one time. It's just gorgeous golf courses, um, challenging but not too challenging. it has a great kind of like you're on vacation in the North Woods kind of feel to it. It just feels like a vacation or a getaway should feel. And the people are so nice in the entire area. So I can guarantee great food, great golf, great accommodations. So that's one. Another one I would say, speaking of Wisconsin, the northern Wisconsin area is about 2 hours north of Milwaukee. There are a couple of places to highlight. Lawsonia Golf, which is in Green Lake County. That's a beautiful course. Um, and then that's not too far from Stevens Point, so Century World. Um, and just that whole area has a ton of great golf courses. Not necessarily all big names, but I think sometimes, it's more affordable for people and it's more fun just to play local courses that are great and just really experience the pulse of the area. So I would definitely highlight those areas. And even if someone's coming to Milwaukee, just the between Milwaukee and Madison, there's an area called Lake Country, and that has, I believe, over 20 lakes. Don't quote me on that, but I live here. There's a lot of lakes, and also Erin Hills Golf Course is in this area, about 25 minutes from this area. So that is obviously a great option. And there is Washington County Golf Course, which is also a great course. Just a bunch of different places that you might not have on your top list, like, hey, let's go here on a golf trip, but that could really make for an affordable and challenging experience.
Right on. So you're going to be making your way to the Milwaukee Golf Show. What are you going to be looking for at that show?
I am just, I listened to a podcast, Wisconsin.golf podcast, and the one of the organizers of the show, Glenn Turk, who also is owns Midwest Golfing magazine, he was talking about some of the features. So there's a wellness zone where they have fitness demos and like putting contests, things like that. So I'm looking forward to checking that out. And then there's also a huge assortment of travel booths and destinations. So I'm interested to see how many from the Chicago Golf Show are also there, or if there are some new destinations to check out. And then finally, the cool thing about the Milwaukee Golf Show is that it is in Franklin, Wisconsin. So it's about 80 miles, 80 or 90 miles from Chicago, depending on where you live. And it's right next to a Lux Bay golf bay, sorry, simulator. So you can, go to the golf show and then hit the golf simulators. There's some cool area restaurants around there. So it's a cool, it's a good destination if people are looking for something to do. And it looks like it's going to be a terrible weekend of snow. So great weekend for a golf show.
So let's end on this. What's one practical takeaway for golfers planning their season right now?
I would say maybe do an equipment audit. Maybe just really take a look at your everything you have, your clubs, your bag, your gloves, your ball situation, everything. Just see what you need versus, like it's 5 minutes before you're leaving for your first round and you realize you need to, overhaul everything. Just do that because it's an exciting time to do it. There are golf shows and there are some sales going on. So I would say do the audit, then find a local simulator and do some indoor golf to get ready for the season, and then you can hit the ground running when warm weather comes along.
Well, I appreciate you coming on and talking a little bit, Abby. Where can people follow you, find your work?
I'm at abbeyalgiers.com, ABBEYALGIERS.com, and then also Abbey Algiers on Instagram and LinkedIn, all the places. Just look for Abbey Algiers.
Right on. Abbey Algiers, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Big thanks to Abbey Algiers for joining us and sharing so much insight on the Chicago Golf Show, Midwest golf destinations, club fitting, Spain, the bigger trends shaping golf travel right now. If this episode gave you a few ideas on your next round or trip, make sure to follow, share, check out more from the Golf Podcast USA Network. Just Google your state plus golf podcast and you'll find our shows. or head over to golfpodcast.org for the full catalog. I'm Brett Smith. Thanks for listening, and always remember to tip your cart staff.